Probably doesn't want to see. Good morning and welcome back to Probate Court 2. I will remind you you're absolutely to watch us on YouTube, but you are prohibited from recording or reproduction in any manner. Okay, we are here on our show cause docket for muniments of title, and we have a bunch of people set all at one time because a lot of times they cancel. So we just bring them in as they show up and as they're on the docket. All right, this is the estate of Mary June De Leon. Mr. Burkhart, you are on mute, so I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. And you received a show cause over a month ago about a compliance affidavit that was required.
Yes, Judge, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, the court's correct. My apologies. I've sent the affidavit to my client for execution fairly recently. The lack of attention to detail is not, I can assure the court, it's not his, has nothing to do with my client. So I would hope that the court would take that into consideration. I am very familiar with the case. Everything has been done that is necessary. And this is the first time this has happened to me, for what it's worth. I take full responsibility for the lack of attention. It wasn't no disrespect to the court or to the law was intended, of course. I've been doing it too long for that. So, I mean, that's really all I had to say. The one thing I would say, without the last several months of upheaval for all of us, it has really I'm not using that as an excuse. It had nothing to do with it. The things that happened that kind of threw me off center had nothing to do with that and happened before that. I'll be real honest, I just kind of forgot. I had a death of an intimately close family member. It actually happened the day that I was in court to do the prove up for this hearing. And I would never say that as an excuse, and that person, if they could come back, would choke me probably, but it was gut wrenching to say the least. And I've not, I'm back up to speed, been back up to speed. I'd hate for my reputation, especially in this court, to be damaged by something like this, but I understand.
Mr. Burkhart, it happens to all of us. I remember after I had my daughter, I got a show cause and immediately, kind of hopefully like you did, said, "Ooh, I got to get that done." How long do you think you're going to need? I'm going to give you that time so that we're not here again.
I would think, I mean, it's in his possession, a couple of weeks, maybe, the most.
Okay. Yeah. All right, I'm going to give you 15 days to get that filed. With the muniment, the only thing I have is contempt. So I certainly don't want to hold your client or you in contempt. So if you could just be filed in 15 days, then we will get this closed on our docket.
Well, thank you, Judge, very much.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your week.
Yeah. Okay, you too.
Thank you. Good morning, Miss Audet. We are here on the estate of Thelma Williams. You are muted, so you'll have to unmute yourself. And you received a show cause, well, over a month ago about the failure to file a compliance affidavit in accordance with the Texas Estates Code on this estate. Is that,
Yes, I did.
is that forthcoming?
I received it while I was on vacation, and somehow or another, I didn't see the email and I wasn't aware of it until I got the notice yesterday that there was a Zoom hearing set.
Okay, well, when things come into your office when you're on vacation, what's your plan for that?
Well, normally I go through all them. I'm not saying it's not my fault. I did not see it. I had rotator cuff surgery and I was out for 5 weeks, and then I was on vacation for 2 weeks, and somehow it slipped through the 500 emails I get every day during the COVID. So I'm not saying it's not my fault. I did not see it. My client, the notice that I received yesterday for the Zoom hearing, the address on the bottom of the page is still his address, although he says he did not get it. He's had trouble with his mail. The issue here has to do with there was a property dispute and a check was sent to the estate after we actually did the muniment of title, or I would have never done just a muniment of title. I haven't heard from him since January. So I assumed everything was okay.
Hey, wait a second. You said you hadn't heard from him since January, but you also said he didn't get the notice. So you must have talked to him because you said he had mail issues.
Of course, I called him yesterday.
Okay, so where is the compliance affidavit going to be completed? Are you going to file a bill of review because you need to open up an estate? Are you going to file a request to extend the time for the compliance affidavit?
Right. I sent an email to your coordinator this morning, and she said, thank you for letting her know. So that was where I was getting to. We can't, because this check came in after we did the muniment of title, it's made out to the estate, which I wasn't aware of that until yesterday when I called him. So now I have to file the application to open up an estate so that he can get letters testamentary to finish what he needs to do.
Okay, and when did that letter come in?
What letter?
The letter with the check.
After we did the muniment of title, I was made aware that he was not able to access some funds in, I forgot what county it's in. So I sent them a letter and said, you know, here's the order muniment of title, here's the will, you know, he's entitled to receive the funds and the beneficiaries. And then he never got back with me. They never got back with me after January.
Okay, so all this happened in January.
Yes. And I haven't heard from him since January. So I assumed everything was okay. But no, I did not file the affidavit of compliance.
I'm going to give you 10 days to file something as to why it hasn't been filed, or for an extension or whatever you believe that needs to be filed. But certainly,
Well, I'm going to file. I've never transitioned from a muniment to actual full administration. So I've looked it up. I've read it. I know what you know the code section is. I've got to get the application filed was my intent. So do I just file the application, or do I still need to submit a letter to you explaining all this?
well, you have 10 days to file something.
Okay, perfect.
So, because obviously the compliance affidavit was never done. It was ordered
Right.
done by statute. And then even after the show cause, here we are, and it was dealt with yesterday. And really it was a courtesy of Ms. Young to send those emails out because the Zoom invite was on the show cause letter as well.
Well, obviously I would have not ignored a show cause hearing. I mean, I've never even had a show cause hearing. So, you know, again, it's totally my fault. I neglected to you know, go through every email. I try to, yes. I mean, I run a business. I have 2 offices. So yes, it's my fault. And I'm in the process of rectifying this situation.
Okay, well, we will look for something on file in 10 days.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your week.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Moseley. Welcome to Probate Court 2. You are on mute, so I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. And we're here on our show called Docket. This is the estate of Marjorie H. Cluis. And per statute, you were required, or client was required through you to file a compliance affidavit. And that has not been filed. And of course, you received the show cause over a month ago. So what is going on? What are the issues?
Okay. Well, two items. Mr. Cluis, we finally got a hold of him about about 10 days ago. And he had been in the hospital for a long time. In fact, he's on a wait list for heart transplant. He had just recently gotten out, and that's how he got my message and called. And he was on standby. Now for the transplant. We haven't heard from him since. He was supposed to come by and sign this affidavit, actually update the affidavit, and he didn't make it. And I can't get through to him. All I can assume is that he did get a call and he's back in the hospital, and there's no way to get through to someone in that condition. He did, it's about a year ago, when we sent the affidavit to him, like a lot of clients, they sign it, but he didn't get it notarized. So I have an affidavit that's not an affidavit, and it's not notarized. So
Does it comply with an unsworn declaration, because those are being accepted during COVID?
We did not have that language in there as to an unsworn affidavit at this time. This is last year, 2019.
Will you be filing a request for extension detailing this information?
Yes, Your Honor. We'd like an extension. I've got to find out where he is, and actually if he's even alive. And because he's been ill for a long time. He is the sole, other than $1, he's the sole distributee of the estate. And
Well, if you can file something within 10 days, then I will take this matter under advisement for 10 days.
thank you, Your Honor. I'll do that today. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So when that extension comes in, Right. Good morning, Mr. Smith. Welcome to Probate Court 2. That's our show cause docket, and you're here for the estate of Maynard McGuire, and this is the failure to file the compliance affidavit per the Texas Estates Code. And so we still don't see that filed. You received a show cause over a month ago. So what's going on? You're on mute. You're going to have to unmute yourself.
Yes, Your Honor. I've been in contact with Amanda. She's been very good about this file. I have sent both regular postal mail, and the last email to Ms. McGuire was August 21st, which included an attached unsworn declaration to get this done. We're really just here out of my lazy drafting. This is a case where the sole my applicant is the sole devisee under the will. I failed to ask, I know in my pleadings, that this be waived, and we may have asked in the hearing, but it wasn't granted, and rightfully so. But that's it. I've called her with the numbers I have. The postal mail did not come back. It was not registered mail, but it did not come back. She's just off the map, Your Honor.
Okay, are you going to file a motion for extension or some other item to apprise the court of this?
Certainly, yes. That didn't that did not. I'm happy to do that now, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to take this matter under advisement for 10 days. So hopefully you will file some type of motion.
Yes, absolutely. I'll put all of this in a motion for extension. I don't know what's going to come of it, but I'm happy to do that.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. This last one he said he said Good morning, Mr. McClinchy. I think you're connecting to audio, so I'll speak to the people who are on YouTube. If you are joining us on YouTube, you are welcome to watch, but you may not record or reproduce in any manner. We are being forced to Zoom by the Office of Court Administration and the Texas Supreme Court, and you can see as some people are on their car. Some people are driving boats while they appear in front of the court or outside walking around. Mr. McClinchy, okay, you are now connected to audio. Welcome to Probate Court 2. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. I'm also going to ask you to stop moving around or stop driving. It's kind of making me dizzy. You're on mute, but I am going to guess that you're trying to pull over and stop driving. Mr. McClinchy, I'm going to ask you to stop driving. You can pull over, please. And you're on mute, so I can't hear you, but I would like you to stop. And then you can unmute yourself. Sir, you were stopped when you first came on because you were looking at some type of map. So please stop your vehicle. You are in a court of law. Although the Office of Court Administration and Texas Supreme Court seem to be making a mockery of the judicial system, they have told us that we are to treat this as if you are in court. Sir, please stop and unmute yourself. And of course, we've lost him. Par for the
So, Judge, I'm here. I'm stopped. I'm sorry. I was not at a safe place to stop.
All right, I need to see you back on video, please. And you need to unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted. I'm not sure how to get the video to come back on. Judge, I apologize. There.
Okay, so we're on our show cause docket for failure to file a compliance affidavit per the Texas Estates Code, and this is the estate of Dudley Griffin.
Yes, ma'am.
It's my understanding that you had made a phone call that you had filed something, but we have asked the clerks and we are still not seeing it. So can you tell me what's going on with this?
A unsworn declaration was filed yesterday at 5:15.
Okay, do you have a copy of that you can show the court?
No, Judge, I don't.
We're not showing that.
Well, I can show you the file time submission receipt, but I don't have the document in front of me.
I'm going to take it under advisement for 5 days and hopefully it will show up by then. If not, then I will be considering the show cause that is set today.
Yes, ma'am. And I apologize for being late getting it in. It was pulling teeth to get it from the client. And it was the best I was able to do was an unsworn declaration, given that she did not have ready access to a notary. But we got that in. It basically says that everything in the will was followed. The will directed that the house be given to one person, that the decedent's brother, who predeceased him, have personal possessions. Obviously, that became a lapsed gift. And then anything left over from his possessions and his bank accounts to be divided among certain family members. After the funeral expenses, there was not anything left to divide financially. It was just household items, and the family members, everybody took what they felt they wanted, and everybody's in agreement.
Okay. Well, we will look for that and I'll take this under advisement for 5 days.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good rest of your week.
You too.
Thank you. All right, if you were joining us on Facebook or actually YouTube, that concludes our show cause docket. And I'll just remind you that while you are welcome to watch, you may not record or reproduce this in any fashion. You can be held in contempt of court.